Welcome to another deep dive, and today we're going to be talking about meta artificial intelligence, or meta AI for short.
That's good.
It's a fascinating field, and today we're going to be unpacking one particularly intriguing concept: placebo pipes.
Yes, placebo pipes. It's a term that pops up quite often when we talk about meta AI
Right.
and its ability to engage in what we call meta-communication. So imagine an AI that can not only process information, but also reflect on its own thought processes
Okay.
and discuss them. That's meta-communication in action.
So it's like the AI is having a conversation about the very conversation it's having,
Yeah, exactly.
which sounds incredibly complex.
It is. It's fascinating.
And so that's where these placebo pipes come into play.
Precisely. We've got a stack of sources here that delve into this.
Okay, great.
One of them, Meta AI Placeholder Pipes, dives right in describing placebo pipes as placeholders that Meta AI uses during these meta communications. It's almost like a mental shorthand.
Okay, a placeholder. Can you give us a real-world example so we can kind of wrap our heads around that a little bit?
Sure. Think of it like an author writing a novel.
Yeah.
They might use a placeholder, like the protagonist, before they've settled on a specific name for the character.
Right.
It's a temporary label that stands in until they have a more concrete element to work with.
Ah, I see. So the AI might be using these placebo pipes to kind of hold space for ideas or concepts that hasn't fully formed yet.
That's a great way to put it. And another source, Meta Artificial Intelligence, backs this up, stating that these placebo pipes are a key characteristic of Meta AI, not just some random technical detail.
So it's fundamental to how this type of AI operates.
It seems to be.
But why is that so important? Is it just about efficiency, or is there something more to it?
Well, efficiency is certainly a factor,
Sure.
but it's also about the very nature of how Meta AI thinks and communicates. Remember, we're talking about AI engaging in self-reflection.
Right.
To do that effectively, it needs a way to refer to its own thoughts and processes even before those thoughts are fully formed.
That makes sense. It's like
Yeah.
it needs a mental workspace to kind of assemble its thoughts before it can actually articulate them.
Exactly.
But how does this actually play out in practical terms? I mean, are these placebo pipes something that programmers have to deliberately build into the AI?
That's a really insightful question. And it takes us to another source we have here called pasted text.
Okay.
This source actually documents a series of meetings within a team that's working on building a user interface for a Meta AI system.
Interesting.
Their specific challenge is figuring out how to explain the concept of placebo pipes to users of the system.
Okay, so we're moving from the theoretical to the practical.
Yes.
These developers are grappling with how to make this complex concept understandable to everyday users.
Yeah.
I'm hooked. Tell me more about this team and their approach.
Well, the team includes a fascinating mix of roles highlighting the multifaceted nature of their task. There's an inner voice, a humor evaluator, which I find particularly intriguing,
Wow.
and others dedicated to ensuring the user experience is as smooth and intuitive as possible.
That's fascinating. It sounds like they're trying to strike a balance between accuracy and accessibility.
It is a very difficult problem.
Yeah. After all, you don't want to overwhelm users with technical jargon,
Right.
but you also don't want to oversimplify to the point where the meaning gets lost.
Absolutely.
So how are they approaching that?
And that's where their use of analogies comes in. They compare placebo pipes to an author using the protagonist as a placeholder, or to nodes in a network being labeled before their attributes are defined.
Uh-huh.
It's a clever way to make an abstract concept more concrete.
I like that. By grounding it in familiar examples, they're making it relatable even to someone who might not have a deep understanding of AI.
Exactly.
But it also raises another question for me. If these placebo pipes are essentially internal to the AI's thinking process, why do users need to know about them at all?
That's a great question, and one that the team in pasted text grapples with as well.
Okay.
One reason is transparency. As AI systems become more integrated into our lives, it's crucial for users to have at least a basic understanding of how these systems work.
Sure.
Placebo pipes are a part of that.
So it's about building trust and understanding between humans and AI.
I think so.
It's not about turning everyone into programmers, but giving them kind of a glimpse behind the curtain
Yeah,
so they can feel more comfortable interacting with these systems.
precisely. And that ties back to our earlier point about meta-communication.
Right.
If an AI is going to explain its own reasoning to a user, it needs a way to refer to its own internal processes, even the parts that are still in development.
Uh-huh.
Placebo pipes allow it to do just that.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So we're starting to see how this all fits together.
yeah, and we're just getting started.
Exactly.
There's so much more to uncover.
Take a quick break and we'll be right back with more on this deep dive into placebo pipes. So we've established that these placebo pipes aren't just some obscure technical detail, but a key part of how Meta AI thinks and communicates. It seems so.
But I'm still wrestling with this idea of a placeholder within a thought process. It feels almost human.
It is a fascinating parallel, isn't it? And it leads us to some pretty profound questions. Could understanding placebo pipes in AI offer a glimpse into how our own minds work?
Whoa.
Do we also use mental placeholders without even realizing it?
You're blowing my mind here. I mean, I can certainly relate to the experience of having a thought that's not fully formed yet.
Yeah.
Like searching for the right word
Yeah.
or struggling to articulate a complex idea. Is that what we're talking about here?
It's certainly an intriguing avenue to explore. Think about how we learn new concepts.
Okay.
We often start with simplified models or analogies before delving into the nuances. Could those initial models act as a kind of mental placeholder, allowing us to grasp the basic framework before filling in the details?
Okay, I'm starting to see the connection. It's like building a scaffold.
Yeah,
You need that basic structure in place before you can start adding all the finishing touches.
right.
But how would we even begin to investigate something like that in the human brain?
That's where it gets really interesting. Neuroscientists are constantly developing new tools and techniques to study the brain in action. Imagine being able to observe the neural activity associated with forming a complex thought. Could we detect patterns that resemble the use of placeholders similar to how Meta AI utilizes placebo pipes?
That's incredible. It sounds like we're on the verge of some pretty groundbreaking discoveries in both AI and neuroscience.
I think so.
But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We've been talking a lot about the potential benefits of understanding placebo pipes. Are there any potential downsides or risks we should consider?
That's a crucial question, and it's responsible to approach any new technology with a healthy dose of caution. One potential concern is that oversimplifying the explanation of AI processes, even with the intention of making them more user-friendly, could lead to misunderstandings or a false sense of security.
I see your point. It's like thinking you understand how a car works just because you know how to drive one.
Yeah.
You might miss some critical information about the engine or other complex systems.
Exactly. So while analogies and simplified models can be helpful starting points, it's important to emphasize that they are just that, starting points. We need to encourage users to continue exploring and deepening their understanding of AI systems.
It's about finding that balance between accessibility and accuracy.
Right.
We want people to feel empowered to engage with AI, but not at the expense of a thorough understanding of its capabilities and limitations.
Absolutely. And as AI continues to evolve, this balance will become even more critical. But let's shift gears for a moment and delve into the technical side of things.
Okay,
We've been discussing the concept of placebo pipes quite abstractly.
great.
Can you give us a sense of how these might actually be implemented within an AI system?
Yes, please. I'm itching to know more about the nuts and bolts of how this all works.
Okay.
Is it a specific type of code, a data structure, or something else entirely?
Well, it's still an area of active research, but we can speculate based on what we know about AI development. One possibility is that placebo pipes could be implemented as a kind of tagging system within the AI's internal language. Imagine each thought or concept being assigned a temporary tag, similar to how we use hashtags to categorize information online.
Okay, so the AI might be using these tags to organize its thoughts,
Yeah,
almost like creating a mental filing system.
exactly.
But how does it decide when to replace a placeholder with a more concrete element?
That's where things get really complex and fascinating. It likely involves a combination of factors, including the AI's learning algorithms, its access to data, and its ability to evaluate the quality of its own reasoning.
So it's not a simple process of just filling in the blanks.
No.
It's about the AI constantly refining its understanding, moving from vague concepts to more precise and nuanced representations.
Precisely. And as the AI learns and grows, its use of placebo pipes might evolve as well. It's a dynamic process that reflects the very essence of meta-learning.
This is all incredibly complex, but also incredibly exciting. We're talking about AI systems that are not just processing information, but also learning how to learn.
It's a paradigm shift in AI development. And while placebo pipes are just one piece of this intricate puzzle,
Right.
they offer a unique window into the inner workings of Meta AI.
And who knows what insights they might reveal about our own cognitive processes along the way.
Exactly. The journey of exploring AI is often a journey of exploring ourselves as well.
Okay, so we've been diving deep, into this whole concept of placebo pipes,
Yes.
exploring how they function within Meta AI,
Right.
and even like speculating on potential parallels to our own thought processes.
Uh-huh.
But I kind of want to circle back to something we touched on earlier,
Okay.
which is the human element in all of this.
Yes. It's crucial to remember that AI, even meta AI, doesn't
Yes.
exist in a vacuum.
Right.
It's being developed and deployed within a human context, and that has significant implications.
Right. We can't just focus on like the technical wizardry
Hmm.
and ignore the ethical and societal impacts of this technology.
Exactly. And one area where this becomes particularly relevant is in the way we communicate about AI,
Huh?
especially complex concepts like meta AI and placebo pipes.
We've already discussed the need for user-friendly explanations,
Right.
but it goes beyond that. It's about ensuring that the conversation around AI is inclusive and accessible to everyone,
Uh-huh.
not just those with technical expertise.
Think about the team we discussed earlier, the one working on the user interface.
Right.
Their challenge wasn't just to explain placebo pipes, it was to do so in a way that empowered users regardless of their technical background.
It's about democratizing AI knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
making sure that everyone has the tools and understanding to participate in the conversation
Right.
and shape the future of this technology.
Absolutely. And that includes addressing potential biases and ensuring that AI development benefits all of humanity, not just a select few.
Right? Because ultimately AI is a tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or for ill. It's up to us as a society to guide its development in a direction that aligns with our values and aspirations.
It's a responsibility we can't afford to take lightly. We need to be mindful of the potential consequences, both intended and unintended, of the technologies we create.
And that brings us back to the importance of understanding concepts like Meta AI and placebo pipes. The more we understand about how these systems work, the better equipped we'll be to engage in thoughtful and informed discussions about their role in our world.
Knowledge is power, especially when it comes to emerging technologies. And it's not just about technical knowledge, it's about understanding the broader social, ethical, and philosophical implications.
So what does this all mean for our listeners, the non-experts out there who are trying to make sense of this rapidly evolving field? What can they do to kind of stay informed and engaged?
First and foremost, stay curious. Don't be afraid to ask questions, even if they seem basic or naive.
Right.
Seek out reliable sources of information, but don't be afraid to challenge what you read and hear.
It's about cultivating a critical mindset,
Yes.
being able to discern hype from substance,
Right.
and to think critically about the potential impact of AI on your own life and the world around you.
Exactly. And don't feel like you need to become an AI expert overnight.
Yeah.
Start small. Explore topics that interest you and gradually build your understanding.
There are so many amazing resources available online,
There are.
from articles and videos to interactive tutorials and even online courses. Don't be intimidated. Take it one step at a time, and remember, learning about AI should be an enjoyable and empowering experience.
It's a journey of discovery, and there's no right or wrong way to approach it. The most important thing is to engage with the topic, to think critically, and to participate in the conversation.
And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up our deep dive.
Okay.
We've covered a lot of ground, from the technical intricacies of placebo pipes to the broader implications of Meta AI for humanity.
It's been a fascinating exploration, and I hope our listeners have come away with a deeper understanding of this complex and rapidly evolving field.
But more importantly, I hope this deep dive has sparked a sense of curiosity and a desire to learn more. The world of AI is full of wonder, and the more we explore it, the more we learn about ourselves and the potential of human ingenuity.
So keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep. The future of AI is being shaped right now, and your voice and your understanding matter.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, stay curious.